Welcome to the LDHR podcast, where ministry leaders grow together. Over the next few months, we will be releasing episodes intermittently alongside our other series to talk about growing on purpose, highlighting the people and pathways for growing where you are and with what you've been entrusted. Through these episodes, you'll hear from people with insights and practical steps that you can apply right away. You'll also have the opportunity to find out more about the resources that are available to you and how you can intentionally grow on purpose wherever God has you. Come on in and listen. We're so glad you're here. Barbara Culwell, welcome to the LDHR podcast. I'm so happy you're here with me today.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad to be here. It's such a privilege. Thanks for asking me.
Yeah. As we begin, can you please share a little bit about your journey with Crew and then the role you currently serve in as a coach at Embrace Your Strengths?
Sure. I went to Auburn University and I joined Crusade staff right out of college. And I was in the University of Minnesota at a training center for a year. And then my husband and I got married and we were in Dallas for 10 years. And I worked at SMU there, discipling women. And then we moved to Austin and I was a mom. So my role was a little looser, being a mom, discipling women and kind of doing different things that I could. Then we moved to Austin to be part of the area team back then and continued just to do what I could in being a mom with the time I had available. And at one point, we moved to Costa Rica to learn Spanish and hopefully to do more ministry in Latin America. And then a few years later, we were in Mexico and we never quite got the language to do the ministry that we'd hoped, but those were awesome experiences. But yeah, just been in campus ministry. My husband and I left Crew staff about 8 years ago but still are doing ministry. And my role before we left was in leadership development, HR, and my role was with the moms. I was the mom's associate. And I loved getting to do that because it was an opportunity to come alongside moms of helping them understand who they were and where they could contribute and what their giftings were in whatever available time they had as a mom. And so I loved that and just coming alongside people that were wanting to be part of investing in others and changing the world.
That's great. Thanks for sharing. What a journey kind of all over the U.S.
Well, in addition to that, since we left staff, we kind of still do ministry things. Pretty much we can choose what we do, but my husband and I both still invest in people, discipling them. And yeah, I do coaching and workshops with the Strength Finders stuff that we'll talk about. So that's been a real joy for me to be able to do that and just different opportunities that come along.
Fantastic. Well, once again, welcome. Yes, we are going to be talking about CliftonStrengths Finders today. So what first drew you to helping people discover their uniqueness and why has it been so meaningful to you?
Well, at one of our meetings when I was in that role with the HR moms, we took the CliftonStrengths assessment and I'd never heard of it before. And it was really encouraging to me to understand what my top 5 strengths were. And it is an assessment that you take and you get your top 5 strengths out of 34. And maybe a year or two later, I had someone that had some training in it go over with me a little bit about my strengths. And one of my strengths is empathy. And I remember at first thinking, okay, not just a crybaby, I have empathy and God wants to use this for his purpose. And just gave me more meaning and understanding about what my strengths were, because I think we all can look around and compare ourselves to whoever's on our team or even others that maybe we're not working with, but we can think certain gifts or strengths or abilities are better. And it really helped me to be like, oh, no, I care about people and I care about them deeply. Or even with adaptability, it helped me see, okay, I don't schedule real well because I am able to respond to the most important need of the moment. It's just like we can have negative context about things that we do naturally and think, oh, if I could just put all these things on the calendar, that would be better. But it's like, well, no, somebody might need me tomorrow and I got to be able to jump. I don't know. It just was helpful to me. So it was a fun opportunity for me to learn more how to coach people. And one of my friends was going to a training with CoreClarity that uses the CliftonStrengths and just kind of packages them a little bit differently, but in Orlando with other cruise staff. And so I was like, yes, I want to go. And so that was about 11 years ago, I think, when I got trained. And it's been just a joy to come alongside teams and individuals and coaching and help other people understand how great they are.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Just that personal impact that it had on you first that you really wanted to share with other people. And I get that of, yeah, you see some things inside of you and you compare them so easily to other people of like, oh, if I was only like this. But yeah, that
Yeah.
it really affirms how God has made each of us, which is
Yeah.
great. So there are a number of personality tools, team dynamic tools out there. What makes the Core Clarity framework, which is built on Gallup's Clifton Strengths, distinct from all the rest? And what are some of the key benefits for someone discovering their top 5 strengths?
What I love about it is just seems so clear and straightforward. And I mean, I've done a lot of the other assessments and I've learned valuable things from each one of them. But this one, it's just clear. It's not real complicated. And it's like, oh, okay, here's your different top 5 strengths. And then Core Clarity puts them, like Gallup does, in different quadrants. So you can see, oh, I have more of the connecting strengths with people, or some people might have more reflecting, like that are more in their head, or energizing themselves to action, or mobilizing other people. And so it just kind of helps you see, oh, yeah, I lean toward this. And for me, it was really insightful to see there was value in what my mix of my strengths were. And again, I mean, I'm still human and I do wish I had like discipline. I saw you have discipline as a strength. I mean, I'm sure
Mhm.
you have a orderly garage. I do not, or a closet. But it's like, okay, I bring other things to the table. I think just the simplicity and the clarity of it is what is really practical. And especially when you're talking with a group or a team, of helping everybody see and understand each other a little bit more is just awesome.
Great. How have you seen then strengths awareness intersect with someone's sense of calling or purpose, especially in the ministry context?
Again, some people just kind of know what they are made to do and they do it, and there's easy path steps
Mhm.
for them. But I've seen when some people understand their strengths, they can just embrace that and really say, oh, I'm really good at meeting people at the meeting. I have woo and positivity or relator, and there's different combinations of what there are. But I think it can help people see, like, oh, yeah, I need to be with the people, or I need to work in the office and help these budget lists get orderly, whatever it is. But I think it just can help people see, okay, I'm not going to be the one speaking at the meeting because I am good at other things. And so, like, for me, it helped me see more that, yeah, my strengths lie with people. Like, my top 5 strengths are harmony, adaptability, empathy, connectedness, and maximizer. And
Hmm.
so 2 of mine are like harmony and empathy. They're related to people. But then my other ones are in one in each quadrant. But especially my maximizer is wanting people to go from good to great. That drives me a lot in this work and coaching. It's like, yeah, I want everybody to see how great they are. But it helped me even see, as I tied all those together and kind of have a little elevator tagline or whatever you call it. But it's like, yeah, I connect with others to help them discover they matter. It's sad, but I think a lot of people don't stop and really do that for themselves. I mean, maybe if you're applying for a job, you're going to do that. But sometimes just in ministry or life, people wander. I mean, I talk to people all the time that are like, oh, I don't know what I offer. And I mean, some of my good friends, they're so warm and inviting, but sometimes you bless everyone when you walk in the room and you love them. I think it can help people see, okay, go to every party somebody invites you to, or go to the meeting, or just go and greet people and then go home if you need to, whatever. But I think it just can help people have a little clearer vision of what they bring to the table.
Yeah, I like that little tagline elevator pitch you said of kind of synthesizing your different strengths together to kind of create your life purpose. That's so helpful and a helpful filter too. If people see their strengths and can kind of put that together in a statement can help guide them, like you said, of like, where is God going to use me? What are my strengths? Is it going to that meeting? Is it talking to people or is it organizing? I
Yeah.
really like that. So I know sometimes people can feel a little bit boxed in by personality labels and, compare themselves negatively to others. Donald Clifton asked, what will happen when we think about what is right with people rather than fixating on what is wrong with them? How do you think viewing these results as a starting point for growth, joy, and purpose rather than a limitation can change the way people engage with them?
Yeah, it's such a simple statement, but it's just so brilliant. Like he even talks about in his books or when he first made the assessment or discovered it or
Hmm.
whatever that word is. But it's like, yeah, you come home from math, but you made A plus in drama and English. And like, it's easy for a parent, especially to be like, oh, you better bring that grade up. But the more that we can be like, wow, you're going to be a writer someday, or you're going to speak in front of crowds. And I think is just freeing because we can't be everything. A lot of times people look even at their top 10, not just their top 5, but that's a good measuring stick of like, oh, yeah, what are all these together? What are the things that I need to be doing more of? And
Mm.
I don't know, I just think it helps, like I mentioned with the empathy, it's like, that's a good, valuable strength. And I care about people. And when I meet with people or when people are coaching, like, what can I do to make the empathy better? It can be productive. There's a quote that says, anything you do 10,000 hours, you'll become an expert at.
Hmm.
And I think to use that in this, how can I use my empathy for 10,000 hours?
Hmm.
What's going to help me utilize that more? And like I took a course in counseling for lay people, or I love reading stories about people's journey and some hard things. So it's like focusing on what these strengths are. It's like, okay, well, how can I use that more?
Yeah.
And is helpful to narrow it down. It's like, okay, I'm not going to be like Susie Q next door, but how can I be better me?
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think when I first heard and learned a little bit about Clifton Strengths, they talked about like a kid, if they naturally have a talent in math, you
Mhm.
take and you develop that, and then they can grow exponentially. Versus if you don't naturally have a talent in math, like you can grow and you can develop, but it won't
Right.
be as exponential as someone who already has that talent. And so, like
Yeah.
you said, once we realize what our talents are, if we invest a little time in developing them, that 10,000-hour rule of like, okay, I'm going to work on my empathy. I love hearing your examples of just taking that counseling course for like people of like, how can I really build that? So I'm sure that allows you to grow exponentially then in that strength. I
Yeah.
really like that. So, how have you seen strengths based coaching shape the way teams understand and work with one another? In what ways does a shared language of strengths create unity, build trust, and help teams navigate potential friction?
I think it's so fun to meet with the team and help them see what all the other people on their team have, their different strengths. And the starting place is like, okay, they're really, really different than me. Some teams maybe have a few more strengths that they have overlap, but it helps to see, like, oh, wow, I have 3 strengths that are reflecting, I think a lot, but that person has none. No judgment, but just to the reality of we're really different. And here's some of the ways we're different.
Mhm.
Especially one of the parts of the workshop is to look at what the whole team has and what the top 5 strengths of the group is. And so it's like, oh, okay, we can delve into that more, be better at certain things because of what the mix of our team is. But then also there's this section of which of these talents or strengths can collide with each other. There's a lot. And to walk through that, like one of them in particular, I have adaptability and that can collide with responsibility.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh, yeah, when I needed to do something and miss a meeting, the person with the responsibility didn't really like that. It helped give understanding. Well, that makes sense because I was responding to an important need of a moment, but I
Mhm.
still had this meeting. So kind of working through that, or even there's a long list of strengths that can collide with each other for people to sit and hear that and think, oh yeah, that's why we had that trouble. Even one
Mhm.
time a team I met with, there was several that kept popping up and it did create a little bit of tension, but it was encouraging afterwards for the people that were colliding to kind of talk through it. It can be hard when we don't get each other, but it's just a tiny window to be like, okay, well, we're seeing this really differently. And
Mhm.
let's kind of work at that.
I see what you're saying, and I like that understanding of helping people see that they see situations differently than other people. I have responsibilities, so I can feel that example as you're even giving it of like, oh yeah, like of course you'd be at a meeting, but I can see how that adaptability was like, oh, there's another need. I'm going to respond to that. And having that same language to talk about
Yeah.
it, maybe to say, okay, where are we going to meet? What's our common ground? But realizing, oh, we might have a different value in that moment, that we don't necessarily all have the same values, and that looking at our strengths can help us see that in a new light, I think is so helpful. What does a truly strengths-based culture look like? And what are some indicators that a team is really living this out?
Ideally, they all learn each other's strengths and they can encourage each other in those. And even probably, the team leaders would be help the different team members like opportunities to use that strength. Oh, you can MC at the meeting, you have communication,
Mhm.
or there's so many different things on a team that people are doing. But I think for the group to see, oh, yeah, we need to leverage this person and they'll be really good at that. Or we need to get a student that, because we don't have this strength that's needed for a certain task, and to even understand what the students' strengths are. But then ideally, even if for a team to regularly acknowledge that with each other, like at a staff meeting once a week or once a month, whatever strength they notice someone using in a situation, just to affirm that. Because it's like, oh, yeah, I did do that, didn't I? Maybe like with discipline, you have probably a lot of good structure and order, and some people might not really notice it or appreciate it, but it's like, I would appreciate it because that's one of my envy strengths, I know you do a lot of good things that I don't already, just because I know that that's your strength. Just to have a camaraderie and an acknowledgement like, hey, we're in this together. And even though we might come to something really different, but what you bring is valuable too.
Mm. We are never encouraged enough. And so being able to very specifically say, like, I saw your discipline, I saw your empathy there, in a team context, like you're sharing, that is so encouraging. That is so letting people on your team know that they are seen and that they're needed. That's a really beautiful way to put that into practice. You
Yeah.
mentioned an envy strength. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, there's a little video like I send to people before the workshop, and it's kind of that we think everyone has the same strengths we do, and realizing that they don't do the same things we do. I do wish I had strategic. I wish I had communication, discipline. Those are probably the main ones. But I look at other people and think, wow, they're orderly and
Mm.
they do things this way, or even communication, being in ministry, to even name the ones to ourselves that we think, oh, I do think she's better. I hate to even admit that, but it's like, I'm
Mm.
68. I still have envy strengths.
Yeah, yeah. That's a really helpful perspective, and even recognizing in yourself of like seeing that, oh, I wish I did have that one, or I wish I had that, but realizing, I think that helps with our self-awareness of how God really has made us. And then we start to appreciate that in other people. Thanks for walking us through that a little bit. So as you've walked people through discovering their strengths, what are some of the key aha moments that tend to stand out?
I do think it kind of just in relation to realizing I'm not like other people, and that
Mm.
I'm as valuable as that person that maybe is upfront more or
Mm.
does whatever it is. The aha moments are like, oh, this strength of input is really important when we're making a decision what we're going to do the next 2 or 3 years. Though some of them don't seem as tangible to really get, but it's like every one of these strengths is important, and they just show up different ways on a team or in a family when you're trying to accomplish something or move forward. And just the ahas of, oh, yeah, I do that. That's what that strength is.
Mm.
Because some people don't even realize that's a strength.
Mhm, mhm. It just comes so naturally that they
Yeah,
just assume that's just how you do things instead of
right.
realizing it's actually a strength that God has given them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how has understanding your own strengths shaped the way you approach your growth and relationships since learning about this?
I love that question. It has helped me to give myself a little more grace. Like I said, even that statement, I connect with others to help them discover they matter. That was really huge for me because I thought, okay, how do I do that? I love coaching people. I love interviewing people on the podcast that I have, Embrace Your Strengths, of like helping see other people. That's part of like oh, I want to be seen. Don't you want to be seen? What are your strengths? I want to interview you. Just digging down deeper in those layers. One time I realized that hospitality is one of my spiritual gifts, just being with people. And some people don't enjoy that as much, but it just helped me see all the different ways that I connect with others to help them discover they matter. Rejoicing with people, mourning with people, celebrating, different things, or being with our grandchildren. It helped validate my husband and I, we care about people and we show up. And some people don't, not that they don't want to be with people, but it just helped give me more clarity. Like, I'll go help with setting up before the event at church because who am I going to get to visit? That might be important.
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, even when I did that recently, I thought, yeah, my strengths will show up some way, just doing this little task of service at church.
Mhm.
It's helped me to really, yeah, lean into those kind of things more.
Thanks for sharing that. It sounds like just having that context of your strengths has given meaning to a lot of just the activities that you might just otherwise go through, just, helping set up, but realizing, oh, but I'm going to connect with people. I'm going to see people. And
Yeah.
I really like that perspective. So, whether someone has taken the Clifton Strengths assessment before or not, what's one mindset shift you'd hope they'd walk away with after today's conversation?
Basically, just the reminder that each one of us is so valuable and so unique. We're God's creation, and we read in Psalms, that we're fearfully and wonderfully made. God has designed us with different talents and gifts and abilities for his purposes. And just to kind of step back and be reminded that, wow, I'm a unique creation and I'm valuable and I bring important things to, again, this team, this family, whatever the situation is, that those are the ways that God can use each of us individually to accomplish his purposes, to connect with someone that we might not ever have realized or build something that needed to be made because we're really creative and smart and innovative. And so I think just the reminder that, yeah, what you bring to the table is so important. And, just rest in that and embrace your strengths. And
Mm.
I'm still preaching to myself too.
That's a really beautiful. Yes, sometimes I think we accept, you said the Psalms passage that God has made us uniquely and fearfully, wonderfully made. But sometimes that can be just so broad of a concept, but having those strains of just really naming them of like, God has given you empathy and harmony and just really naming those, I think can be powerful to really put some extra emphasis that really God has made me unique, different from my teammates, different from other people. And what I'm bringing to the table is important. Thank you
Yeah.
for that perspective. So, for someone who's curious about discovering their uniqueness or wants to see their team truly flourish, what are some practical next steps they can take to learn and begin applying the StrengthsFinder's results?
Well, first, they need to take the assessment, and you can go to gallup.com/CliftonStrengths. You can take it to learn all 34. Usually, it's best just to start with the top 5. The 34 is valuable too to know what your bottom 5 might be. To really understand your top 5 is a great starting place. I think to even sit with someone that understands more, like a CoreClarity coach, just to take some time to really unpack that. What does that mean? Or what are the ways you've seen that? And part of the workshop when you meet with someone is like, yeah, how does this really move me forward? And how does it hold me back? Like I think of my harmony. Often I think of it holding me back, of not speaking up about certain things at times, but I do bring calm and peace to a situation. And so I just dissecting what their top 5 strengths are and even having some action steps of how can I develop this? One of my first steps on the empathy was I started a tear journal. I'd heard a quote that says, tears are the biggest window to our soul. If we pay attention to them, God will take us to where he wants us to go if we're brave enough to go there. And I thought, okay, I'm going to start noticing my tears for myself, like paying attention to that. And then, like mentioned, taking the class, taking action. Because I've talked to so many people, they say, oh, yeah, I took that test. I don't know
Mhm.
anything about it. So many people have done it, and it was a folder they put in their desk and they never looked at it again. So I think somehow figuring out a way to understand their strengths more and use them.
Yeah. Thanks for those steps that people can take. And we'll make sure we link to the Gallup link in our show notes as well as your podcast and website. But if people are listening and they want to find out more, they can always write the llama at llama@crew.org to find out more. And we'll connect you with someone who can give you a little bit more help and guidance on this. But Barbara, thank you so much for your time and this great conversation and just sharing a little bit about CliftonStrengths, how it has impacted you, and how people can learn and grow from it. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I love this opportunity. Thanks so much.
As we close, I want to leave you with something simple and practical. If you've taken CliftonStrengths before, take a few minutes this week to revisit your top 5. Ask yourself, where did I see these show up recently? And where might I be underusing them? And if you've never taken it, maybe this is your next step. Not as another task to check off, but as a tool to help you better understand how you're wired and how you can contribute. Growth doesn't always come from adding more. It often comes from leaning more fully into what's already there. So as you go into your week, look for small ways to do more of what strengthens you and to invite that out in others as well. I hope you keep growing on purpose, and I'll see you next time.